My name is Jennifer. Well, it's Jennifer for now. My name has changed many times. About 4 years ago, a Zoom call from my fiancé changed my life forever, and now I'm in the witness protection program. Because Connor and I lived 2 hours apart, we met over Zoom almost every night. The call on that particular evening began like all the others. We talked about work, how much we missed each other, and what our lives together would be like in the future. The funny thing is, I didn't know much about Connor's past, just that it was bad. Something to do with drugs. He didn't like talking about it, and I respected that. Connor swore to me that he was a new man, and I had no reason to doubt him. He was employed, always cheerful, and he treated me like an absolute princess. Like I said, Connor was always cheerful, but on that night, I began to notice something odd about his behavior. He seemed on edge, even nervous, and he kept glancing at his phone. When I asked him, "Is something wrong?" he assured me he was fine, and then quickly changed the subject. We were in the middle of discussing possible wedding dates when we were interrupted by a creaking sound coming from somewhere in his house. Connor nearly jumped out of his seat. Before I could even ask what the sound was, he told me to hold on and hurried out of his bedroom. I don't know why I was on the edge of my seat as I waited for him to return. There was just something off about that night, something wrong in the air. Connor returned to the computer looking calmer. He told me it was nothing, probably the neighbor's cat. I had the odd feeling Connor was still nervous and that he was really just trying to reassure himself. We tried to resume the conversation, but Connor seemed more distracted than ever. I was beginning to get worried and begged him to tell me what was wrong. He surprised me when he apologized and said I was right, that he did have a problem. A chill seized me when Connor's face suddenly turned tragic, and instantly I knew whatever he was about to say would not be good. Just as Connor opened his mouth to speak, 2 huge men armed with guns burst into his room. They looked like gang members. Huge, mean. I clasped my mouth and watched in horror as one grabbed Connor while the other pointed a gun at his head. The gunman shouted something about Connor stealing money or drugs as Connor begged for his life. Realizing they hadn't noticed me on the Zoom call, I grabbed my phone to dial 911 and dropped it. The sound of the phone hitting my desk caused the 2 gunmen to turn their attention to Connor's computer. Suddenly they were both staring at me. I snatched up my phone, but one gunman pressed the gun to Connor's forehead. He said if I didn't throw my phone across the room, he'd blow Connor's brains out. Connor was crying, sobbing. I did what I was told. What happened next caused my heart to thud in my chest. They ordered Connor to give them my address, or else. Connor screamed at them to leave me alone, begged them, but he never gave them my address. I watched in horror as the gunmen beat Connor with their pistols and then shot him over and over. To this day, I don't know why I didn't turn off my computer. I was frozen, in total shock. One of the gunmen leaned close into the camera and glared at me. "We'll find you," he said. His eerily calm voice raised the hairs on the back of my neck. Then the Zoom call went dead. The FBI told me Connor was involved with a dangerous drug cartel with connections all over the world. It broke my heart to realize that Connor lied to me, but I still missed him. The fact that he never told those men how to find me tells me he truly loved me. I will probably spend the rest of my life in witness protection, moved every few years from location to location, each time changing identity. Today my name is Jennifer. Tomorrow I could be anybody.